My mother looked me dead in the eye and said, "Maya, you're just the supporting act. Eric is the main event." At 10:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, 3 sharp knocks on my apartment door would prove her devastatingly wrong. But let me back up. I'm Maya Chen, 28 years old, and I'd just spent the last 18 months building something that could revolutionize how restaurants manage inventory using AI. My parents owned Golden Dynasty, a chain of 7 Chinese restaurants across the Bay Area. They'd built it from nothing, and I respected that. What I didn't respect was how they'd spent my entire life making it clear that my older brother Eric was the golden child, the brilliant one, the future of the family business, while I was just there. Eric got into Stanford for business. I got into Berkeley for computer science. "That's nice, Maya," my mom had said, not looking up from chopping vegetables. When Eric graduated, they threw him a party with 200 guests. When I graduated, we had dim sum with immediate family, and my dad spent the whole time asking Eric about his new consulting job. I told myself it didn't matter. I had my career. I was good at what I did. Really good. For the past year and a half, I'd been working nights and weekends on something I called Fresh Flow AI. It was an algorithm that could predict food waste patterns and optimize ordering for restaurants. The potential savings were massive, 20 to 30% reduction in waste. I'd been testing it quietly using data from one of my parents' smaller locations, with permission from the manager who was a family friend. The results were incredible. So when my parents called a family business meeting for Sunday afternoon, I thought maybe, finally, they wanted to hear about my project. Maybe I could help the family business in a meaningful way. I showed up at their house in Cupertino at 2 p.m., carrying my laptop with a presentation ready. Eric was already there, wearing a suit even though it was Sunday. He was always performing. "Oh, Maya," my mom said when she saw me. "I didn't know you were coming." I blinked. "You texted me. You said family business meeting, 2 p.m. Don't be late." "Yes, but..." She looked at my dad, then at Eric. "This is really a meeting for decision makers. We're discussing expansion strategy, financing options, that kind of thing. It's pretty complex business stuff. I have an MBA, I said slowly, and a computer science degree." "We know, sweetie," my dad said in that patronizing tone I'd heard my whole life. "But Eric has been consulting with Fortune 500 companies. He understands these things at a different level. Why don't you help your mom set up the snacks in the dining room? We'll be in the office." I stood there, feeling like I was 7 years old again, being told to go play while the adults talked. "Actually," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I've been working on something that could really help the restaurants. An AI system that could save us thousands every month on food costs. I have all the data, I've been testing it, and I'd love to show you." "Maya." Eric's voice had that older brother authority that always made me feel small. "Mom and Dad are busy with real business decisions right now. Your little tech project is cute, but we're talking about serious expansion here. Multi-million-dollar decisions. My little tech project. Why don't we look at it another time?" my mom said, already turning toward the office. "Maybe next month when things are less hectic." They left me standing in the foyer. Through the office door, I could hear them laughing about something. The sound of success and belonging that I was never quite part of. I didn't help set up snacks. I went home. That night, I stress-coded until 3 a.m., making my algorithm even better, determined to prove I was more than just the supporting act. 2 weeks later, Eric called me. "Hey, little sister," he said, his voice warm and friendly in a way that should have been my first warning. I felt bad about how that meeting went. You know how Mom and Dad are. They're old school. They don't really get tech stuff. "Yeah," I said carefully, "but I get it. And I've been thinking about your AI thing. It actually sounds pretty interesting. Would you want to grab coffee and tell me more about it? I might be able to help you pitch it to Mom and Dad in a way they'd understand. You know, translate the tech stuff into business language." I wanted to believe him so badly. My brother, finally taking me seriously, finally wanting to help. "Really?" I said. "Of course. We're family, right? Your success is my success." We met at a cafe in Palo Alto that Thursday. I brought my laptop. I walked him through everything. The algorithm architecture, the machine learning model, the prediction accuracy rates, the cost savings projections. I showed him my testing data, my code comments, even my pitch deck that I'd been preparing for potential investors. He asked really good questions. He took notes. He seemed genuinely impressed. "This is actually brilliant, Maya," he said. "Way more sophisticated than I expected. Can you send me the files? I want to review them more carefully and think about how to position this to Mom and Dad. Maybe we can present it together." I sent him everything that night. The full code base, the data sets, my business plan, my financial projections. For 3 weeks, I heard nothing. Then my mom called. "Maya, can you come to the house Sunday? Eric has something exciting to present to the family." My stomach dropped, but I told myself I was being paranoid. I was not being paranoid. When I walked into my parents' living room that Sunday, there were 4 other people there. Uncle James, who handled the finances, Aunt Susan, who managed 2 of the locations, and 2 people I didn't recognize in business casual attire. "Maya," my dad said. "Perfect timing. Eric is about to show us his brilliant new business proposal." Eric was standing by the TV, his laptop connected to it. He looked confident, polished. "Thanks everyone for coming. I've been working on something that's going to transform our business." He clicked to the first slide. My slide, my design, my title, FreshFlow AI, Intelligent Inventory Management System. My hands went cold. "Over the past 6 months," Eric said smoothly, "I've been developing an artificial intelligence system specifically designed for restaurant inventory management." I couldn't breathe. He went through my entire presentation, my data, my projections, my technical architecture. He'd even kept some of my exact phrasing. The only thing he'd changed was replacing my name with his. The 2 strangers were asking questions, good questions. Eric was answering them, but I could tell he didn't really understand the technical depth. He was giving surface-level responses, using buzzwords. "What's the training data set size?" one of them asked. "Substantial," Eric said vaguely. "We're talking tens of thousands of data points." It was 47,312 specifically. I knew because I'd collected every single one. "Can you walk us through the neural network architecture?" the other stranger asked. "It's proprietary," Eric said quickly, "but it's using cutting-edge deep learning techniques, ensemble methods, the works." He had no idea what he was talking about. My mom was beaming at him. My dad had that proud look I'd seen 1,000 times, but never directed at me. "This is remarkable, son," my dad said. "This could save us hundreds of thousands a year." "I know," Eric said. "That's why I've already started conversations with some potential investors about scaling this beyond just our family business. Imagine licensing this to other restaurant chains across the country." The 2 strangers introduced themselves. They were venture capitalists. Eric had invited them to a family meeting to pitch my work as his own. I stood up. Everyone looked at me. "This is interesting," I said, my voice shaking but clear. "Eric, can you explain to everyone how the algorithm handles seasonal variation in produce prices?" He stared at me. "Well, it uses predictive modeling." "What kind of predictive modeling specifically?" "Advanced predictive modeling, Maya. Look, I know you're interested in this stuff, but I'm interested because I built it." The room went silent. Every single line of code, every data point, every projection on that screen. "I built it over 18 months. I showed it to you 3 weeks ago at that cafe, and you told me you wanted to help me present it to Mom and Dad." Eric's face flushed. "That's not exactly. You have my original files. They all have my name in the metadata. The code comments have my initials. There's a watermark on the training data." "Maya," my mother said sharply, "this is inappropriate. Your brother has been working on this for months. Just because you did some coding work doesn't mean—" "Some coding work?" My voice rose. "I created this from nothing. Eric didn't write a single line of code. He doesn't even understand how it works. Ask him what activation function the neural network uses. Ask him what the learning rate is. Ask him anything technical." One of the VCs looked uncomfortable. "Is this true?" he asked Eric. "My sister helped with some of the technical implementation," Eric said smoothly. "But the concept, the business strategy, the positioning, that's all mine. This is what family does, right? We collaborate. She did the code, I did the business side. It's a team effort. I never agreed to that, I said. You stole my work. Maya, you're being dramatic, my dad said. Eric isn't stealing anything. He's taking what you built and making it viable. You're good at coding, but you don't understand business. Eric does. He's making your work actually mean something. You should be grateful he's including you at all. Including me? He erased my name from everything. Because investors don't want to work with a 28-year-old with no business track record, Eric said. They want to work with someone who's proven. I'm doing this for the family, Maya. For all of us. Your ego is getting in the way of a massive opportunity. My Aunt Susan spoke up. Maya, honey, I know you're upset, but think about this practically. If Eric can get investors interested, everyone benefits. Your parents benefit. You benefit. Maybe you can work for Eric when he launches this officially. It's still your code. Working for Eric? I repeated. Using my own creation? My mother walked over and put her hand on my arm. Maya, I know you worked hard on this, and we appreciate it. But you have to understand, this is bigger than you now. This is about the family business. About our legacy. Eric knows how to navigate these waters. Let him do this. Be a team player. A team player. The supporting act. Just help set up the snacks. I looked at each of them. My parents who had never believed I could be the main event. My brother who'd looked me in the eye and pretended to care about my work while planning to steal it. My extended family who thought I should be grateful to be erased. The VCs looked awkward, but they weren't leaving. They were still interested in the project, regardless of who actually created it. I grabbed my bag. I'm leaving. And Eric, those files you have? I kept copies of everything. Every commit, every version, every email. Time-stamped. With my name on them. Don't be childish, my dad said. We can discuss this like adults after you've calmed down. I walked out. In my car, I sat in their driveway and cried for 10 minutes. Then I dried my face and drove home and opened my laptop. I had backups of everything on 3 separate drives and cloud storage. I had my commit history on GitHub showing 18 months of development. I had every email, every research paper I'd referenced, every test result. And I had something else. When I'd sent Eric the files, I'd included a hidden watermark in the code comments. A specific pattern of spacing and characters that spelled out my name in ASCII art if you knew where to look. I'd done it almost as a joke, never thinking I'd need it. I started preparing. Not just to defend my work, but to go around my family entirely. Over the next week, I cleaned up my pitch deck. I rehearsed my presentation. I researched VCs who specialized in restaurant tech and AI applications. I found 3 firms that had specifically invested in similar spaces. Then I started reaching out. The first 2 didn't respond. The third firm, North Star Ventures, sent back a 1-line email. Interesting. Can you pitch Friday at 2 p.m.? I took the day off work. I prepared like my life depended on it. Friday at 2 p.m. I walked into a sleek office in San Francisco and presented FreshFlow AI to 3 partners at North Star. I showed them everything. The code, the results, the potential. I was honest about testing it on my parents' restaurant data. I showed them my commit history, proving I'd built it. They asked hard questions. But unlike Eric, I could answer every single one because I'd built every single piece. This is impressive, the lead partner, a woman named Jessica Martinez, said. Really impressive. But I have to ask, why are you pitching this alone? Your background shows family and restaurant business. I'd expect this to be a family venture. I took a breath. Because my family doesn't believe I can be the main event. They think I'm supporting cast. When I tried to present this to them, I was told it was too complex for me to handle alone. My brother took my work and pitched it as his own to your competitors at Summit Ventures last week. Jessica's eyebrows raised. Summit Ventures? With your code? With my everything. But without my knowledge or permission, the 3 partners looked at each other. Can you prove the work is yours? Another partner asked. I spent 20 minutes walking them through my documentation. The commits, the timestamps, the watermarks, the progressive development of features. It was airtight. Here's my concern, Jessica said carefully. If we invest in you, and your family pushes back, claims ownership. This could get legally messy. The code is mine. I can prove it. But more than that, I can keep building. Eric can't. He doesn't understand the technical architecture. He can't iterate on it, can't fix bugs, can't add features. Without me, he has a static product that will be obsolete in 6 months. And if we brought you on, you could keep developing? I have a roadmap for the next 2 years of features. Integration with suppliers, predictive analytics for labor scheduling, dynamic pricing optimization. This isn't just inventory management. It's a comprehensive restaurant intelligence platform. They asked me to wait outside for 15 minutes. When they called me back in, Jessica smiled. We want to invest. Seed round, 1.2 million. We'd want you to quit your job and do this full time. Build a team. We can connect you with a strong COO who has restaurant industry experience to handle the business side while you focus on product development. I couldn't speak for a moment. We're also going to reach out to Summit Ventures, Jessica continued. This industry is small. They should know that the person pitching them that AI system didn't actually build it. It's the right thing to do. I signed the term sheet that afternoon. That night, I posted on LinkedIn. A simple announcement. Excited to announce that FreshFlow AI, an AI-powered restaurant management platform I've been building for the past 18 months, has been seed funded by North Star Ventures. Looking forward to revolutionizing how restaurants operate. I included a screenshot of my commit history showing my name and the 18-month timeline. The post got 100 likes in the first hour, then 200. By midnight, it had been shared 43 times. My phone started ringing at 11 p.m. I was lying on my couch, eating leftover pizza and reading incorporation documents, when the calls started coming in. Eric. Declined. Mom. Declined. Eric again. Declined. Dad. Declined. Uncle James. Declined. Eric again, calling from Mom's phone. Declined. Text messages started flooding in. Eric. Maya. What the hell are you doing? Summit Ventures pulled out. They're saying I misrepresented the project. Call me now. Mom. Maya, this is very disrespectful. You're embarrassing the family. Take that post down and call your brother. Dad. I'm very disappointed in you. We need to talk about this as a family. Eric again. You're sabotaging me out of spite. This is incredibly immature. That technology belongs to the family. I turned my phone to Do Not Disturb and went to sleep. Saturday morning, I woke up to 63 missed calls and 47 text messages. I made coffee, did yoga, and then I called Jessica. Just wanted to give you a heads up, I said. My family is reacting. I saw, she said. I could hear the smile in her voice. Your LinkedIn post made it into TechCrunch. There's an article about a female AI founder getting funded. They're calling you one of the promising young voices in restaurant tech. I pulled up TechCrunch on my laptop. There it was. My name, my face from my LinkedIn photo, my story. Young computer scientist Maya Chen raises $1.2 for FreshFlow AI after family overlooks her talent. The article mentioned that I developed the technology over 18 months while working full-time. It quoted me from my LinkedIn post. It had a quote from Jessica about why they invested. It had over 2,000 shares. My phone rang. Eric. I let it go to voicemail. Then my mom. Voicemail. Then a number I didn't recognize. I answered. Maya Chen? A man's voice, professional. Yes? This is David Park from Restaurant Business Magazine. I saw the TechCrunch article. We'd love to do a feature on you and FreshFlow AI. We cover technology innovation in the restaurant industry, and your story is exactly what our readers are interested in. Would you be available for an interview? I did the interview that afternoon. Sunday morning, my parents showed up at my apartment at 8 a.m. I answered the door in my pajamas, coffee in hand. We need to talk, my dad said. His face was red. What you're doing is destroying this family? I'm building a company, I said calmly. You stole Eric's opportunity, my mom said. He worked so hard on that pitch to Summit Ventures, and you sabotaged him. He worked hard on pitching my code that he stole from me. He was trying to help you, my dad said. He was trying to make your little project into something real. My little project just got funded for $1.2 million and is being written about in national publications. It was already something real. You just couldn't see it. Eric pushed past them into my apartment. You're doing this because you're jealous. You've always been jealous that Mom and Dad see me as the capable one. This is your revenge. This is me taking ownership of my own work, I said. Something I should have done from the beginning instead of hoping you'd actually help me. We're family, Eric shouted. Family shares. Family supports each other. You're right, I said quietly. Family should support each other. They should celebrate each other's achievements. They should take each other seriously. None of you have ever done that for me. That's not fair, my mom said. We've always supported you. You told me to set up snacks during a business meeting. You called my 18 months of work a little tech project. You watched Eric present my work as his own and told me I should be grateful he was making it viable. That's not support. My dad's phone rang. He looked at it and answered. James, I'm in the middle of what? When? His face went pale. I understand. Thank you for letting me know. He hung up. What? My mom asked. That was Uncle James. He just got a call from the accounting firm that does the taxes for Golden Dynasty. They're asking if we're planning to sue Maya for theft of proprietary information, since Eric was claiming he developed the AI system using company resources and restaurant data. What did you tell them? Eric demanded. He told them the truth. That Maya developed it independently, that she had permission from the manager to test it, and that we have no claim to her work. My dad looked at me. Is that the truth? Yes, I said. I used publicly available information and data I had permission to access. I developed everything on my own time, with my own equipment. The intellectual property is entirely mine. You need to add Eric to the company, my mom said. As a co-founder, he was part of this. He absolutely was not. We're your family, she said. You can't just shut us out. Watch me, I said. I need you all to leave now. Maya, my dad started. Leave, or I'll call the police and report you for trespassing. They left. Over the next 2 weeks, the calls continued. Sometimes angry, sometimes pleading, sometimes trying to guilt me. I blocked all their numbers. Restaurant Business Magazine published the feature. It included interviews with me, with Jessica from North Star, and with the manager from my parents' restaurant who'd let me test the system. He praised how much it had helped, how it had reduced their food waste by 28%. The article mentioned that I'd initially tried to present the system to my family's business, but that they'd overlooked the opportunity. It didn't explicitly say Eric had tried to steal it, but the implication was clear enough. The article went viral in restaurant industry circles. I got 17 inquiries from restaurant owners who wanted to pilot the system. I got 4 inquiries from other VCs wanting to invest in the next round. I got invited to speak on a panel about AI and food service at a major industry conference in Las Vegas. And I got an email from a COO with 15 years of experience in restaurant operations who'd read the TechCrunch article and wanted to join my company. Her name was Sarah Kim, and she was brilliant. We met for coffee, talked for 3 hours, and I knew she was the business expertise I needed. I love that you built this despite people not believing in you, she said. That's the kind of founder I want to work with. I hired her the next week. 2 months after the seed funding, we had 7 pilot restaurants running FreshFlow AI, including 2 chains with multiple locations. The results were even better than my projections. Average food waste reduction of 32%, time saved on ordering cut by 40%. We started getting acquisition interest from larger restaurant management software companies. 3 months in, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I'd started answering unknown numbers because they were usually business opportunities. Maya Chen speaking. Maya, it's Mom. I should have hung up. But something made me stay on the line. I'm calling because I wanted to tell you something, she said. Her voice sounded smaller than I'd ever heard it. I saw you on that panel. Someone sent me the video from the Las Vegas conference. I waited. You were brilliant, she said quietly. The way you explained everything, the way you commanded that room. You were the most impressive person on that stage. Thank you, I said carefully. I was wrong, she said. About you. About Eric. I thought I was helping you by pushing you toward Eric, by encouraging you to support his path. I thought that was what family did, but I was really I was scared. Scared of what? That you'd outgrow us. That you'd succeed so much you wouldn't need us anymore. And I was right. You have. You don't need us. You never needed Eric to make your work viable. You were always the main event, Maya. You were always the brilliant one. I just couldn't see it because I was too busy protecting my idea of what our family should look like. I felt tears on my face and I wasn't sure when they'd started. Eric is lost without Summit Ventures, she continued. His consulting firm asked him to leave because clients heard about the plagiarism situation. Your father and I have been arguing about it constantly. James won't talk to us. Susan is considering leaving the business because she says she can't work with people who don't respect integrity. I'm sorry that's happening, I said. And I meant it. I'm not calling to ask you to fix it, my mom said. I'm calling to say I'm sorry. For every time I made you feel like you weren't enough. For every time I chose Eric over you. For not seeing you. I'm so sorry. We talked for an hour. It didn't fix everything. It didn't erase 28 years of being overlooked, but it was a start. I didn't add Eric to my company. I didn't give my family equity, but 6 months later, after FreshFlow AI had raised a Series A for $8 million and was running in 200 restaurants nationwide, I did one thing for them. I offered Golden Dynasty a free enterprise license for the system, all 7 locations. My dad called me, his voice thick with emotion. You don't have to do this. I know, I said. But I built this for restaurants. Your restaurants might as well benefit too. We implemented it over the course of a month. The savings in the first quarter were substantial enough that my parents were able to give raises to all their managers. I didn't become close with my family again. The hurt was too deep, the betrayal too fresh. But we were civil. We had dinner once a month. My mom asked about my work and actually listened. My dad stopped comparing me to Eric. Eric sent me an email after the Series A was announced. Just 2 sentences. I'm sorry for what I did. You deserved better from me. I didn't respond. Maybe someday I would. But that day wasn't today. Sarah and I moved into a real office in Soma. We hired 8 employees. We got written up in Forbes, in Bloomberg, in the Wall Street Journal. Every article mentioned how I'd built the technology from scratch while working full-time, how I'd been overlooked by my own family, how I'd turned that rejection into fuel. I got messages from other women in tech who'd been pushed aside, who'd been told they were supporting players, who'd had brothers or boyfriends or male colleagues take credit for their work. They told me my story gave them courage. A year after that meeting at my parents' house where Eric stole my presentation, I was invited to speak at a major tech conference in San Francisco. The topic was Building Technology That Matters. I stood on that stage in front of 3,000 people and talked about FreshFlow AI. I talked about the challenge of building something meaningful. I talked about the pain of not being believed in. And I talked about what happened when you bet on yourself even when everyone else bets against you. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. As I walked off stage, my phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Just a photo. Her and my dad in the audience, 40 rows back. They'd come to watch. I didn't text back right away. I walked into the green room, poured myself a glass of water, and looked at myself in the mirror. I wasn't the supporting act anymore. I never had been. It had just taken everyone else a long time to catch up.